library by Facebook called Detectron 2, which is used for object detection. Okay. So there are various object detection algorithms. No? So I'll just give a brief overview of how the developments have occurred in object detection. So no, there are three, four approaches. The first one that came was RCNN. So in object detection, the objective is to detect objects in the picture. So in RCNN, what happens is you have an image, and there is a separate algorithm which gives region proposals. You know, so the images are cropped with region proposals and are fed separately to the convolutional neural network. You know? So this is a time-taking process because we take around 2,000 proposals. Then each of them has to pass through the convolutional neural network, right? Then it decides whether that box has a object or not. Okay. So then came the fast RCNN. So what was fast RCNN? So instead of cropping the image before it passes through the network, what we do is we pass the image through the network first. We get the feature map, and then cropping is done on the feature map. Okay, and the region proposals are still come from a separate algorithm. So some 2,000 region. Okay. Then there is a faster RCNN. So in faster RCNN, even the region proposals are derived from the same convolutional neural network. So this is the feature map. We pass in the image, we get a feature map, and then we get region proposals from this feature map itself. And then using ROI pooling and all, we get the classes and the bounding box. So this is a sort of comparison, the time it takes to process the image. So there was a drastic improvement from RCNN to fast RCNN, and even further improvement to faster RCNN. And then there are single shot detectors or YOLO, which YOLO means you look only once, or SSD is single shot detector. So in that you do not need region proposals also. The entire image is processed at once, but they are even faster than faster RCNN. But faster RCNN is more accurate than the single shot detector that YOLO. And the Detectron 2 model is based on faster RCNN algorithm. So we'll look at the faster RCNN architecture. Okay. So the faster RCNN FPN architecture. Uh, it is the model behind Detectron 2, which does object detection, instance segmentation, semantic segmentation, panoptic segmentation. So there is a backbone network, which in our case is a ResNet 50 backbone, or you can have a VGG backbone. Okay. Then there is a region proposal network, which gets the region proposals, and then there is a ROI head, which finally outputs the bounding boxes and the classes. And the feature maps are extracted at various stages. Okay. So you see, there are feature maps from P2, P3, P4, P5 to P6. This is sort of a detailed architecture. So we have the backbone network, and then a region process that I already talked about. So we'll go into each of these blocks in detail. Okay. So you see, we get feature maps at various scales. So suppose the size of my input image was h comma w. So at the first stage at P2, I get a feature map of size h by 4, w by 4. Then at the next h by 8, w by 8, h by 16. So like this. So the size of the feature map is reducing, the sort of the resolution. So this feature map is used to detect smaller objects. this feature map will be used to detect larger objects. Okay. What happens is this feature map passes through a convolutional layer. So this is the architecture of the backbone network and the feature pyramid network. So the feature map passes through a one-into-one convolutional layer. Okay. And then it again passes through a 3x3 output convolutional layer. And then all those feature maps are collected. And now another thing that happens is the feature maps which come later, these are upsampled and added to the previous feature maps. Okay. So this output here is the sum of this and of this. Okay. This feature map is upsampled. Then this resulting feature map is again upsampled and sent here. Then we get this. Okay. So this is the repository structure of Detectron 2, just for reference.
So this sounds like a classic faster RCNN or mask RCNN, right?
Yeah, this is the mask RCNN or faster
Okay.
RCNN. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I am going into detail of that architecture.
Hmm.
It is just that this Facebook has made it very modular, very easy to train this model, faster RCNN, and tweak it and add your own components. So for this is an example of sort of feature maps at various scales from P2 to P6. The first channel. This is the visualization of the first channel. So usually this number of channels are 256 at all of these in all the outputs. Okay. We are looking at channel number 0. So if you see, the resolution is high here and it keeps on decreasing as we move further. Yeah, this I already talked about. Right? So all the feature maps are reduced to 256 channels, right? We have a 1x1 lateral convolutional layer, then a subsequent 3x3 output convolution layer. Now, once we have the feature maps, we now when we are training, we have ground truth boxes. Correct? So I'll take you to the code. So, for example, this is a data set to detect Hindi and English text in images. Okay? So these are my training images. Okay. So let's look at one of the training images. So this is the where the path of the image, and then it tells me this has annotations. Okay. So this has two bounding boxes. The first bounding box is this. The category ID is 0. 0 is Hindi. This is the height and the width of the image. So these are my ground truth boxes. Now this is my ground truth. So this, for example, this image has three bounding boxes. Okay, so these are my ground truth boxes. Now while training, I will use these ground truth boxes to train my model. So where are these ground truth boxes getting used? So these are get used in two places. First one is the region proposal network. So the function of the region proposal network is to get region proposals. Okay. And then second place it gets used is the ROI pooler. No? the ROI head, where I get my final bounding box predictions. Okay. So how is the data fed into Detectron 2? Now, first we make a data set dict, which is a list of dictionaries, which includes annotations and image paths. So this is a data set dict, an example. This is second one. So this image has many bounding boxes, some 7, 8 bounding boxes with their respective category IDs and bounding box coordinates and the path and the height and width of the image. Then that is converted. This is sort of a wrapper which converts it into a torch data set. Okay. Then there's another function which loads the image from the path, does all the transformations, gets the images to same size, you know, and converts annotations to instances. Then it is ready to be fed to the data loader. Okay, so then the data loader creates batches of this thing and sends it for training. So this is the sort of the code which is written in Detectron. So for example, this is a data set example that I showed you. Right? It has an annotation. So there are two bounding boxes. First one, then a second one. Then when it is mapped, when we create this map data set using dataset mapper, it will load the image into a tensor, right? And get the bounding boxes. It will convert it into instances and get the classes also as tensors. Like this, it will create. Now let's look at the region proposal network. How does the region proposal network work? So, so if you see, we got 6 feature maps from here. So we get 6 feature maps, and all of them are fed into region proposal network. Now each of these feature map has 256 channels. Right? Then there are two things that happen. First is it calculates objectness, whether that box has an object or not. Then it calculates anchor deltas. So first let's talk about anchors. Okay. Right. So if my input image is of this size, 800 and 1280, 1280. So my P2 feature map has this size, 200, 320, 100, then the P3 is 100, 160, and so on. Okay. And now, at every grid point, at every point in this feature map, we have 3 anchor boxes. Okay. So at the P2 feature map, the size of the anchor is 32. The next one it is 64, 128, like that. Till at P6 it is 512. Okay. And they, at every grid point there are 3 anchor boxes with different aspect ratios. Okay. So the for example at P3 the one is a 1:1, 64 cross 64. One is 1:2 and 2:1, and all of these 3 have the same area. So in total, this P6 will have how many anchor boxes? It will have 13 into 20 into 3. Okay. And similarly, this will have 25 into 40 into 3. Right. If we total all these anchor boxes, we'll get 255,780 anchor boxes are generated. Okay. So these many anchor boxes are getting generated. And for each of these anchor boxes, it calculates a objectness score and it calculates anchor deltas. No, so how anchor delta is the delta in the size of the anchor box. Right. Now, out of all those anchor boxes, all of them are labeled as foreground, background, or are ignored. Okay. So we have the ground truth boxes, right? We have the ground truth boxes, and we have the anchor boxes. Okay. So it calculates intersection over union over all the anchor boxes and all the ground truth boxes. So for ground truth box 1, I'll get these scores. Okay. And for ground truth box 2, I'll get these scores. Then it sees if the IOU is greater than 0.7, it will label it as a foreground, means there is some object in that image. And if it is less than 0.3, it will label it as background, as 0. And if it is between 0.3 and 0.7, it will simply ignore it. Okay. And now there are too many anchor boxes. Okay, so what we do is we resample them. Okay, for example, these are my foreground boxes, these are my background boxes. But I usually keep a fixed number of boxes that will pass. So, during training, I do a random sampling. Right, I'll keep usually I keep a fraction of 50%, right? And in total these boxes are 256. This is a parameter which I passed during the training. Okay, so in total there are 256 boxes. And if say the number of foreground boxes is less than 128, then I increase the background boxes. And suppose this was my anchor and this was the ground truth box. Okay, so one is the how much is the difference between the actual position x coordinate, and then how much is the difference between this is the delta w. Similarly, in the y direction, I'll calculate delta y and delta h. Right. Now there are two losses that are calculated at this stage. So one is the localization loss, which is calculated only at the foreground boxes. And then there is a objectness loss, whether the object is there or not. And this is calculated for foreground and background objects.
So Sachin, one question I have is, mostly this looks like mask RCNN. So what did Detectron 2 add on mask RCNN?
The architecture is exactly the same. It's mask RCNN only.
Okay.
Detectron 2 has just made the code modular and very easy to train. So
Okay.
it's just a library to quickly train an object detection model on your dataset.
Got it. So it's using mask RCNN, but it has created an infrastructure around it.
Right.
Okay.
So how are then boxes selected? How is proposal selection done? So at every stage there are multiple anchor boxes. Okay, and we sort it with their objectness score, and we select some top 2000 out of each feature map. and then we get this set, and using non-maximum suppression, we filter out 1,000 boxes. Okay. And then these 1,000 boxes are further sent for the ROI heads. Right. So first is I'm getting these 1,000 proposal boxes, and then I have feature maps which are coming in from my backbone network, feature pyramid network. And then third thing I have is ground truth boxes. Okay, so these are my feature maps with various sizes. Then these are proposal boxes coming from the region proposal network. And these are my ground truth boxes, right? So now I need to map these proposal boxes to ground truth boxes. So here again, this is during training. Proposal box sampling is done during training. So even the actual ground truth boxes are taken as proposal boxes, to speed up the training. And here also I classify my proposal boxes as foreground and background. Okay, so here there are no ignored boxes. If the IOU is less than 0.5, it goes as background. If it is more than 0.5, it is labeled as foreground. Correct. Then again, sampling is done. Random sampling is done for training from background and foreground boxes. Now, the interesting thing is this architecture is able to detect objects of various sizes in the picture. Okay. So, for example, I have this a very small proposal box, and I have a larger proposal box, right? No. So these are ground truth boxes. I have a smaller ground truth box and larger. No. These are proposal boxes. So what happens is these proposal boxes need to get mapped to feature maps. Now this proposal box should get mapped to which proposal box? Because which feature map? This feature map detects smaller objects. This one detects larger objects. So this is sort of the formula which is used to match the proposal box to the feature map. Okay. So for example, this gets assigned to P2, because if this smaller box will get assigned to P5, as the resolution is small, few very few cells in this feature map, uh, we won't get much information from P5. That's why it is assigned to P2. Now this feature map will crop this feature map using these proposal boxes. No, so that cropping and wrapping is done using ROI align. So there are two techniques. One is ROI align V2 and one is ROI align. So what happens is, so finally, because all these proposal boxes will have different sizes, right? But finally, the feature map after cropping, we should all make them into a standard size, to a fixed size. Okay. So all of these are reduced to a size of 7 cross 7. Okay. So for example, this is one of the boxes in 7 cross 7. Correct? And we need to find the value for that box from the feature map. This was my target feature map. So how this is done using point sampling. 4 points are sampled in this box, and then using interpolation and averaging, we get the final value for that box. So using this, we crop the feature maps to get ROIs. Feature map. The ROI size is 7 cross 7. So after sampling, usually during training, my batch size, the number of boxes are 5 and 12. So batch size is number of images. So usually it is 512, and then 256 channels are there, and 7 cross 7 is the size of one of them. Now there are two losses that are calculated at the box head. So one is calculating the class loss, classification loss, which is a softmax cross entropy loss. So this is calculated in the COCO data set. There are 80 classes, okay, and even background is added as a class. So we had so many background boxes, right? So all these go to the background class. In total, there are 81 classes that are done. And then there's a regression loss for the bounding box itself. So the region proposal method. Yes, here. No? If there are 80 classes, the bounding box predictions, it will calculate a bounding box for each class. So 80 cross 4, it will calculate a vector of 320 length. And these are class logics which have a length of 81. So for example, the ground truth class was, for example, if the 15th sample is a foreground with class index 17. Okay, so which bounding box will be picked up? The 15th sample means having an index of 14, and these are the bounding box coordinates from 68 to 71. Right. Just sorry. So now this was during training, and while I'm doing inference or predicting, so while predicting, three things happen. First is I'll get all these from 1,000 proposal boxes. I'll get a prediction for each of that proposal box. Okay, and many of these proposal boxes will have a low objectness score. So I filter out them. So I finally, for example, this image, all these boats will, all these other boxes will get filtered out, and then I'll have multiple boxes which are predicting the same object, and then using non-maximal suppression, I'll just select one box out of them. Finally, I'll get my prediction values. So this was a box set for object detection. So if I want to do predict masks or do segmentation, then I add another head on top of it, which does the segmentation task. And similarly, I can add a head for detecting key points. Or so there are several projects which have been built on top of Detectron 2. So for example, this is one which this is called a dense pose, which calculates sort of a grid structure over. First, it detects a person, then sort of draws a grid. Then this is semantic segmentation plus instance segmentation. So Detectron 2 has a library of all trained models. So I'll show you some examples. So this was a model which was trained on text, to detect English and Hindi text. So these are the predictions after it got trained. So I just tested it on one of the images. Okay. So during training, we get the data set or annotations in this format, with the annotations, with the dictionary for each bounding box, with the list of dictionaries, and height and width and file name and the category IDs. Then the next step is to register this data set. And this is a configuration file. This is the default configuration file, and we can pass in our own parameters. And Detectron 2 will build a model on that and train it. Okay. So these are the parameters that I passed, and this was my data set with text, images, and bounding boxes. And these were three classes: Hindi, English, and other. Okay. So at every step, it will calculate all the losses. You can track how the loss is decreasing, and you'll finally train the model and save it. So this is one example. So this is in Hindi and English predicting correctly.
So
Then
why are we having to do training if it is a ready-made pre-trained model? Why can't we just do inference?
no, the pre-trained model is on Coco dataset. This is the pre-trained model, but using transfer learning, I start from the pre-trained model and then train it on my dataset. In this case, my dataset was a dataset for detecting text in images, Hindi and English text.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so this is a model which has got trained for detecting text now. Okay, so I'm doing inference on some random image. I picked up this image from the internet which had English text and a Hindi text. So it is able to detect Hindi, even smaller text, right? With English.
Interesting.
Then I'll show you some models which are already there in there. So this is a mask RCNN trained model. Okay, instance segmentation model. So I pass in this image, and this was the output. It was able to detect a person, then also draw a mask around the object, a motorcycle and a person. So three objects it is detecting. Then another head we can add on top of it is to detect key points. So instead of the mask, it is detecting key points now, right? And then it is able to do instance segmentation plus semantic segmentation. So this is another model which is there in the library. So it is detecting all the objects in the picture. It is detecting both the persons, it is detecting the bike, then the background also. There's a fence, or there's a wall, there's a tree. So the example image was this.
So you created your custom data set, Sachin, for incremental training?
This one, this data set I picked up from the internet, this one,
Okay.
right? Then, yeah. So It is like the code is there. We can add our own. So if we look at the documentation for Detectron 2, so I can register my own data set, create a data set, and just simply run the model. And I can also add my own layers on top of it so that it can perform other tasks. So yes, Vivek, that was it from my side. Any questions that anyone has?
Okay, very interesting. So audience, any further questions? This seems like a very powerful set of algos. Basically, Facebook has packaged it in, Mask RCNN and for various tasks. Uh, it's not a fundamental reinvention of the algorithm, right? It's more
Yeah, it's not
packaging.
more packaging.
It's packaging for
And
various tasks.
makes it very easy to train. That is it. We need not go into the code, or the code is already written.
But pose estimation needed point detection. So I didn't think Mask RCNN could do point detection. So
So the architecture, the entire architecture stays the same. So this is my entire architecture, right? So this backbone network will stay same, region proposal network stays same. Just here in the ROI head, once I have these channels, I add another. So here I am predicting only boxes, okay? So if I was predicting a mask also, in addition to the box, I'll add another layer which will predict masks. If I'm detecting key points, then I add another head here which will detect key points, and it will have its own loss function.
okay, so they adapted it for various tasks. Okay.
So any other task that you want to do, train it. Maybe something you have very customized or special requirement, you can add your own head, and that functionality is there in the code. You can add your own ROI heads on top of it.
So is this the latest from Facebook or there are others?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
So this is the latest one from Facebook, huh?
This is the latest on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay. They are competing with OpenAI and detection transformer from Hugging Face and all that, right? So each of these companies have their.
Yeah, those are different algorithms. This is the most popular,
Mhm.
faster RCNN architecture. It's tried
Okay,
and
Eddie, yeah, this is pretty standardized from before. Audience, any further questions? So by the way, we are making a pack for Detectron on Self-Shed Hub. So that is one of our product efforts to make a ready-made pack of multiple Detectron 2 solutions certified to run on Self-Shed Hub, because that's what we are making lots of packs on Self-Shed Hub, and this is one of them. So Detectron 2 is not just one solution; it has many. So we are making a pack of it. Okay, any other questions, audience? So a lot of detailed content here on Detectron 2. Okay, thanks, Sachin. Very well done. So look forward to your next sessions.
thanks.
Audience, thanks for joining.